like to start with inviting Hannah to set the scene for us today. What are some of your analysis from the Geopost side in terms of trends on e-shopping, please?
Thank you, Zoe. Good morning, everybody. So I am Hannah. As a market research analyst, I focus on understanding consumer insights. One of the major studies that I oversee is called the e-shopper barometer, which I will base on to guide you to some of e-commerce trends this morning. Just to begin with overall overview over time on the e-commerce dynamic. In Europe, e-commerce has proven to be resilient. So here, the numbers you see are European averages over 22 markets that we surveyed with more than 24,000 e-shoppers. And online shopping in Europe has seen an explosion in 2021 during the pandemic. You can see that, with a greater number of e-shoppers among total population. You see that on the left top from 76 to 78%. But also among regular e-shoppers, there's a higher use of online shopping from 13.5 to 15.5, you see just below. And also the number of parcels received per month has increased from 5 to 5.5. By the way, regular e-shoppers is a key target that we use a lot in the e-shopper barometer, who are receiving at least one parcel a month, so who are really actively involved in online shopping. So after this explosion in 2021, of course, the trend has sort of come down because naturally people went back to physical stores, and also there was a difficult economic situation with a strong inflation, right? But all in all, the level in 2023, we see that it still remains higher than the level that we saw during the pre-COVID era, I would say, because e-commerce has become a part of our daily life and consumption patterns. So what drives these e-shoppers stay active in online shopping? I've just mentioned inflation, so tighter budgets do shape our shopping behaviors. These regular e-shoppers would like to save money through online shopping. They think online shopping saves their money, which is actually one of the most important factor in their purchasing decisions. This is a major driver for keeping them purchase online, and this perception has even more strengthened compared to 2022. But on the other hand, they are also attracted to online shopping for the convenience that online shopping brings. They feel like online shopping also saves their time, and also they feel less stressful to shop online than having to go to offline shopping malls. That 60% of these e-shoppers believe that they're buying more and more stuff online, and they can almost buy anything on the internet. And another trend that we shouldn't ignore is the rise of C2C shopping. I think this shift of second-hand shopping is mainly driven by financial savings in one hand, and also a sustainability concerns. But also, I believe there is a sense of community that is fostered through interactions among individuals that make people continuously use C2C platforms. So today, C2C shopping is becoming almost a common way of consumption for many of European e-shoppers, with 72% of them buying or selling second-hand products on C2C platforms. And in terms of frequency, on annual base, they purchase more than 12 times a year of second-hand products, which becomes more than once a month. And considering that these e-shoppers receive on average 5 parcels a month, actually 1 out of 5 parcels per month that they receive is originating from C2C platforms.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Guillaume, I would like to you to follow up on this by starting with the beginning of the journey. Meta is one of the best positioned to talk about this. If we step forward 3 to 5 years from now, how do you see the moment where customers search on social media for products and brands? How do you see that evolve? What are the biggest innovations that you see?
Yeah, thank you, Zoe. Maybe just before looking into the future, if we look at the past, 5 years ago, search and TV were still leading the way people were discovering products. And here in 2024, that's definitely social commerce, which is the number one way or the number one platforms to discover products. There is a study from the Global Web Index that's saying that now 47% of the people are saying they're discovering new products on social media, whereas it's still around 30% for TV and for search. So obviously, it's due to the fact that those platforms, including our platforms, are Meta, so Facebook, Instagram, but also newer platforms like TikTok, are still rising, and the time spent is bigger and bigger. But there is even a more powerful reason for that, is that now all the content, most of the content that you're seeing on those platforms are powered by AI. Before that, a few years ago, it was a deterministic approach, like Guillaume mentioned earlier. So you were seeing a product because you were connected to a brand, you were connected to someone that was connected to a brand, etc. And now we invested massively, over 100 billion in capex since 2018, and only 40 billion last year, globally on AI. So as Guillaume mentioned, a lot of GPU, a lot of data centers, a lot of brains also to make them run, to really switch from a deterministic to a probabilistic approach. And so now what you're seeing, 30% of what you're seeing on Facebook is powered by AI, 50% of what you're seeing on Instagram is powered by AI, and obviously it's improving the relevance a lot of what you're seeing. And maybe a last point is also where you discover product on the internet globally, but even more on social media, is more and more through videos, right? If you look at the way social media networks developed, 15 years ago, it was mostly text, then pictures, then videos, and then short-form videos. So now it's really the killing format. And obviously, generative AI is already playing, but is going to play more and more into this field. Just if you look at, we have obviously, the way advertisers and brands are using generative AI on our platform, you can either use through third-party partners and generate your own content, but we also have our own products of generative AI that are mostly used for the moment by small and medium businesses. But if you look at those tools that help you to reformat a video, to adapt the brightness of a video, or to use different text variations using our own LLM Llama, already 1 million of advertisers are using those tools, and last month they generated over 15 million ads based on generative AI. So all that combined, new format video, usage of generative AI, obviously the time spent of the platform, and more important than everything, just that more and more content is powered by AI and more relevant, is making social commerce now the number one way to discover new products.
And Chris, any comment on this? How would you view this?
Yeah, thank you, Zoe. We're at Geopost, we're looking at understanding the customer, and a lot of the things we're doing at the moment through the Geopost lab is chatbots internally and externally. But the key element with that is that we need to understand what our customers want. And one of the things we've done at DPD UK is we put 5 years worth of chats through an AI to understand what our customers were asking us. And we found precisely 742 questions over that period. And the power of that meant that we knew exactly what our customers were asking us, and we were able to put that training back into our chatbots. But we were also able to fix some of the issues that we had, and therefore drive some of our compliance with our consumers. I think really over the next 3 years, predictions are going to be a really big area for us. So we predict volumes, we predict transit times across all of the BUs and across Europe. And I think those predictions of what our customers' needs are and volumes and stuff will be a really big ticket for us.
And if we go back to social media being really now the first step to everything when it comes to purchasing, Hannah, you also had a couple of insights on how you see this trend like applied to different geographies. Do you want to share a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so we've seen that people stay in e-commerce actively, but as the time goes, as e-commerce matures, so do the expectation of the e-shoppers, no? So a seamless purchase journey today is the baseline, and beyond that, what e-shoppers are looking for is personalization, and I think Guillaume already mentioned a little bit. Social media plays an important role. So e-shoppers today rely on multiple channels to choose the website or application for their online shopping. And more than half of them, 55% to be precise, are influenced by social media, whether through recommendations from friends on social media, YouTube videos, or advertisements, and so on and so forth. And 67% of them actively share their feedback after making a purchase. And what I find interesting here is that among 22 European markets, Balkan countries, particularly Romania and Bulgaria, are at the forefront of this social media trend. And although e-commerce has emerged a little bit later in these regions compared to Western Europe, actually it is growing really rapidly in these countries, and with some areas even outpacing others. I would say this growth mirrors, a simultaneous rise of social media and e-commerce at the same time, let's say. And these levels are almost comparable to those of China, as you see on the right, which is one of the leading leading market of e-commerce in the world.
Yeah, very interesting, something I didn't know before. And Guillaume, you were talking about how now you offer the tools to generate content much more faster and easily. Can you tell us a little bit about this, and what are some of the case studies that you can maybe share on some brands that have used those tools?
Yeah, when you think about so I mentioned AI, you can see it as a marketer and to make business on social media. You can see it on the generative part of it, as I mentioned, to help you create content, adapt and stuff. But there is a lot also going on what we call marketing automation. And marketing automation is really the new reality of digital marketers. It's not going to replace their jobs, but it's already changing it a lot, because it makes all the middle part of the value chain of a marketer being more and more automatized, right? Which means you will have more time to spend upward on thinking what do I want to tell my client, on which media should I go, etc. And on the bottom part of it, analyzing the results, working on the technical integration and stuff. But the media buying itself is getting more and more automatized. I'm going to give you an example. We have this is not really important, but it's called our own product. It's called Meta Advantage. And that's basically, you're going to let the algorithm choose who is your audience, who is the right audience. You're going to let the algorithm choose which type of format is the best for each single individual that you will address. I'm not going to see the same content than Zoe, etc. You're going to even choose the platform, because my brand, it fits more on Instagram than on Facebook. It doesn't care. Who cares is the final consumer, and maybe some of your consumers are on Facebook or are on Instagram and stuff. So you're basically gonna input the creative on Facebook and Instagram. You're gonna let the algorithm work on the audience? What, for example, something especially important now on the Black Friday weekend and Q4 is like, imagine you're a cosmetic brand targeting mostly women, and now you're closed from like the gifting period. So maybe your audience is going to switch much more to men that are buying for their daughters, for their partners and stuff. So letting the algorithm choose who really has the intent to discover and to buy your product is much more powerful than saying, hey, I will invest 90% of my budget on women and 10 budget on men. So this marketing automation is progressing a lot. We did many A/B testing of like former campaigns, not automatized, compared to a very automatized campaign. If I take an example of back market, so you probably all know back market. If not, they're doing like refurbished electronic products like phones, laptop, and stuff. We are seeing an improvement in terms of campaign performance of 32%. And what is also interesting in the case of back market is like they combined very automated campaign with some content which was not at all generated by generative AI, which was very authentic because they work with creators, influencers, and they generated a lot of videos to promote the installation of their app. And so this mix of fully automated campaign in terms of audience, in terms of placement, in terms of bidding strategy, budget allocation and stuff combined to a format which was very authentic, brought like plus 60% installations of the app compared to the former campaigns. So this is really very powerful. Again, it's transforming the way digital marketers are doing their job, but in the end, from an advertiser perspective, it's way, way more efficient.
Yeah, and talking about leveraging creators, like there's many startups and solutions that are kind of automating also the relationship and the management of brands working with creators. There's this one called Influr that just raised their latest round recently that positions itself in a way that it makes it easier for creators and influencers to receive money and payments much more quickly, and this is actually kind of the key challenge for creators today on your platform, and the whole aspect of payments and in-app payment is also something that is possible in the USA with Instagram, for instance. Can you tell us a little bit shortly how this works in the US and maybe how that's also going to impact brands and retailers in Europe?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, friction is a nightmare of every merchant. You all know that. And so building also like an end-to-end customer journey within social networks, and I will extend it also to messaging platforms because I'm going to talk about WhatsApp right after, is very important. So obviously, that's something we've been working a lot on. It's taking time, but for a few years now, as you mentioned, it is possible to pay directly on Instagram. So you discover a product, you see a video, you arrive not on a website or on the app of the merchant, but within Instagram, on the Instagram shop of the brand, and you can buy it here. Which is also interesting, coming back to the automation part of it. If you're doing an ad, the algorithm will define if you want to send you on the app, if you're having already the app of the merchant, on the mobile website, or within the Instagram shop. Because we detected some patterns that some people are very reluctant to buy directly on Instagram. They never did it. So on those ones, we will send them to the website. The algorithm decide. And the other ones that are used to, for example, and that made multiple former purchase directly on Instagram, we are keen to send them there. Okay. And obviously, you reduce the friction because you're not going to an external website. Even if you have a very good connection, it takes some time and stuff, and you click once. The first time, obviously, you have to enter your payment method and your delivery address, but once you do it once, then it's pre-saved, and for the future purchase, it's only like a 2-click. You confirm, and you confirm your information, and the second click, you push the purchase. Then it's going through our API to to the systems of the company, and obviously the company and the third party is in charge of the delivery and stuff. We don't do anything. We are just like reducing the friction. We are not operating or whatever any of this business. So that's available in the US on Instagram, and what we are seeing a lot also developing mostly in APAC, so in Asia, is like payment on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is really one of the killing platforms. So not in China and stuff, but in very few have like other ones like Line and stuff, or Kakao Talk. But WhatsApp, you can pay directly there on WhatsApp through a payment provider. And so if you have your full catalog and you have a payment experience within WhatsApp, you can basically do your grocery shopping. And a lot of supermarkets, online supermarkets in Asia are developing that. And last point, which is also very interesting, it allows you to have a full history of conversation within WhatsApp. And so coming back to a former order, asking for some customer service and stuff directly on the same platform. So there is only one entry point. So that's not available in the US for now. We made some testing. Obviously, there are some like regulation issue and stuff, but that might be what would come in the coming months or years.
Thank you. Yeah, I really think it's the future. Maybe Guillaume can tell you a little bit about why it's not yet in Europe, maybe during lunchtime. Now let's move on to the delivery step. We're very much used to very quick, on-demand deliveries. Chris, can you tell us a little bit about some of the project that you've put in place, leveraging AI to make the experience even more seamless for your customers and consumers?
Yeah, the delivery experience at the doorstep for our customers in Geopost is super important, and we're using AI at the moment to understand and use where the customer wants a delivery put, and use the image that the driver takes to make sure that the parcel's put in the correct location. So our customers will ask us to put in the shed or around the back of their house in a porch. Often mistakes are made by the driver. So what we've been able to do is put on the device a piece of AI that checks the image and doesn't allow the driver to take the photo until it sees the parcel in the photo and that it's in the correct location. Obviously, this is going to improve our customer experience on the doorstep hugely, and it's also going to speed up the driver, because we're able to immediately take the picture as soon as the device sees the parcel with a door open in the correct place. So the driver actually gets a better experience as well on the device.
Thank you. Another aspect to consider is how consumers are much more conscious as well about environmental impact of those deliveries. So considering the short timing that we have left, I want to go directly to you, Chris. How does Geopost answers to this?
It's interesting. I was recently in China, and a lot of the Asian apps are like super apps, and there's a lot of lessons to learn from how they engage with customers. And we're looking from a sustainability point of view as putting a gamification onto our app, because we want to drive users into our app, because it gives our consumers more options and a better delivery experience. So to drive them onto the app, we're going to put a game on there which enables them, every time they have an electric delivery, they will be able to save the CO2 and use a bubble game to collect that CO2. They can plant a virtual tree. Once they've grown that tree fully, we will then plant a real tree for them, because we have a partnership with the Forestry Commission to plant around about 1,000 trees a year. So we're going to plant those trees for the customer once they've done that virtual tree. We hope that will drive users to our app and also improve the customer experience within our app.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. There's a lot of information here that we've learned. I want to take maybe what you last said, Chris, to also invite people in the audience to discover some other projects that TPD UK and Geopost have put in place during the lunchtime. Thank you to all of you three for joining me. Thank you for your insights. Thank you so much.